Mark Rutte, the longest-serving prime minister in Dutch history, has taken on a new challenge as NATO Secretary General. What should have been the crowning achievement of his political career is now threatened by legal and political challenges that not only jeopardize his future but also the unity and stability of the NATO alliance. In this article, we delve deep into the complex legal challenges threatening his appointment, the political tensions he must navigate, and the implications for global security. Stay tuned as we uncover who is taking Mark Rutte to court and why, and his role into NATO. Karim Achboun, a Moroccan-Dutch tax advisor and legal consultant, has positioned himself as the primary challenger to Rutte's appointment. He has filed an emergency procedure at the Brussels Court of First Instance to block Rutte's appointment until several civil cases against him in the Netherlands are resolved. Achboun, who has long been known as a driven and sometimes controversial figure, is targeting two specific issues that have tarnished Rutte's reputation. The first case Achboun highlights is the Dutch childcare benefits scandal, a national crisis in the Netherlands that plunged thousands of families into deep financial distress due to false accusations of childcare subsidy fraud. Although Rutte took responsibility for the scandal in 2021, leading to the fall of his cabinet, the aftermath of the scandal remains unresolved. Many victims are still waiting for full compensation, and Achboun argues that this disqualifies Rutte from a role with such significant international responsibility. Additionally, Achboun is pursuing a case against Rutte for his support of Israeli military actions in Gaza, accusing the Dutch Prime Minister of complicity in war crimes. This accusation is reinforced by the fact that Achboun represents the family of a Dutch woman who died in these bombings. This case touches on sensitive political issues and casts a shadow over Rutte's moral authority to lead NATO. While Rutte faces legal opponents in court, a complex political game is unfolding within NATO. His appointment as Secretary General comes at a time of rising tensions within the alliance. Several member states, particularly in Eastern Europe, have expressed dissatisfaction with Rutte's selection. They view the appointment of another Western European as a sign of continued Western dominance within NATO at the expense of Eastern European interests. These tensions are further exacerbated by the potential return of Donald Trump as President of the United States. Trump, who frequently criticized NATO and its members during his first term, poses a serious challenge to Rutte. Should Trump return to power, he could further undermine NATO's unity with his skeptical attitude toward the alliance and threats to reduce U.S. support for Ukraine. The internal division within NATO over defense spending is another contentious issue. Despite the fact that the Netherlands, under Rutte's leadership, finally meets the 2% GDP defense spending norm, many other member states lag behind. This inequality fuels discontent within the alliance and presents Rutte with the challenge of bridging this gap, something that could be crucial to maintaining a strong and united NATO. Rutte's new role places him directly in the middle of some of the most complex and urgent political crises of our time. The ongoing war in Ukraine remains a painful issue for NATO, especially with the approaching winter, when Russia is likely to intensify its attacks on Ukrainian infrastructure. Rutte will need to navigate a minefield of demands from Ukraine for more military support while maintaining balance within the alliance, where some members are less inclined to support further escalation. In addition to the threat from Russia, Rutte faces growing aggression from China, particularly in the South China Sea and toward Taiwan. As the United States increasingly views China as its main political rival, Rutte must ensure that European allies unite in their approach to this new threat. The delicate economic ties between Europe and China make this task even more challenging for Rutte. Another challenge for Rutte is managing the internal political forces within NATO. Eastern European countries have long felt undervalued in the power structures of the alliance. The appointment of Rutte, a Western European, to the highest position has only further reinforced this sense of exclusion. Countries like Estonia and Romania, which often find themselves on the front lines of the Russian threat, are now demanding greater representation at secondary levels of NATO leadership, such as the position of Deputy Secretary General and other top posts. Moreover, Rutte will have to deal with the growing influence of right-wing populist governments within NATO. These governments, skeptical of further military involvement in the war in Ukraine, will pose a serious challenge to Rutte's ability to maintain unity within the alliance. As NATO leader, he will need to navigate the diverse political views of member states while continuing to pursue the alliance's strategic goals. Rutte's appointment comes at a time when NATO's international reputation is under pressure. The alliance, long regarded as the cornerstone of Western defense, is facing increasing criticism over its effectiveness and relevance in a rapidly changing world order. As Russia remains aggressive in Eastern Europe and China expands its influence in Asia, Rutte must ensure that NATO continues to adapt to these new realities. In addition, Rutte will need to work on restoring confidence in NATO among its members. In recent years, several member states have openly expressed doubts about the direction of the alliance, especially regarding support for Ukraine and the role of the United States. As leader, Rutte will need to demonstrate his ability to build consensus and guide NATO through these turbulent times. Mark Rutte's appointment as NATO Secretary General is a major historical step, but it is one that comes with unprecedented challenges. From legal procedures threatening his promotion to significant political tensions testing the alliance's unity, Rutte faces one of the toughest tasks of his career. His success or failure will not only determine his own political legacy but also the future of NATO and the stability of global security. The coming months and years will be crucial, not just for Rutte, but for the world order as we know it. What do you think of Mark Rutte as the new NATO Secretary General? Do you think the lawsuits are justified? Let us know in the comments below. Subscribe to our channel and turn your notifications on,